first of all, let's just talk about this exciting new project you've got down in the south of the island.
Yeah, so some of your listeners might be familiar with it because I did do a chat about maybe Christmas time, I think, when the project was really at the initial stages. But yeah, so I'm looking to provide a brand new state-of-the-art facility for cue sports, not just snooker but pool as well, down at Brule House on Ronaldsway Industrial Estate, and really provide the island with a venue that it's never seen before, and that is on par with what we go to in terms of the UK when we go to the international events there, and just give the players that play a chance to play properly on good condition tables and in good environments, and also encourage more people to start the game or reignite their interest in the game if they maybe had it and lost it, and also provide somewhere that the juniors can be brought out, the good that's in the juniors can be brought out with the coaches, and they can work properly as well. So yeah, that's the aim, and we're well on with it now, and set an opening date and looking to get it cracking now.
Well, let's just put out the name as well of the business and the opening date so
Yeah,
people can get it in the diary.
yeah. So the centre's called the Cue Zone IOM. Again, mainly because it isn't snooker or pool; it's just a general Cue Zone facility. We also have American pool there as well, which currently we don't have at all on the island. And we are well on track now, so we've set the opening date for Friday, the 10th of April, which is Good Friday. So hopefully too many people haven't booked things away for Easter or are already busy. But yeah, Friday 10th of April is the launch night.
Now, you must have some contacts with your time in the professional game. So is anybody coming over to help you with the opening?
Yeah, I might have roped somebody in. Yeah, so if anybody has been on the Qzone's Facebook page or even mine, we have stated that we have got a professional player coming over to be the guest for the launch night. It isn't just any average player. I've managed to get the 2015 World Champion and the current 2020 Masters Champion Stuart Bingham to attend the launch night. So he has agreed he will be coming over. He's booked to come over, and he will be there for the launch night.
You've got to know Stuart, have you, as a friend?
Yes, yeah. I mean, obviously being on the tour helps with having, as you said, building contacts. And but Stuart was one in particular because obviously when I was on the tour in 2015, he was the current world champion then. So he was our god, if you like, for all the new juniors that were on the tour and whatever. And we were playing when I was on the tour. We had to play these European Tour events. They were called European Championships. There were 6 events around Europe, and they were just played over a weekend. So it was really good because it was only Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was a lot of snooker crammed into those 3 days. But wherever you flew from, you'd always get the professionals from that area flying at the same time as you. So if you went through Manchester, you'd get all the northern players, and you'd all be on the same flights together. And then at the other end, of course, you'd all have to share taxis to get to the hotel. So it was a really good way of getting to know players and getting yourself out there and introducing yourself and just finding more out about them. So it was at one of these European Tour events, because I was flying out of London this time. And then we went to Latvia for the Riga Open. And when I was checking out of the hotel in Riga to come back, I just got through all the checkout process and ordered the taxi to the hotel. And Stuart Bingham comes down in the lift to check out at the same time. So, I was sort of like, the world champion's here now, and what do I do and all. And anyway, he checked out, and I was waiting. He said, "Have you booked a taxi?" And I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Oh well, I'll jump in with you then. That'll be fine." So of course the taxi ride then was good because obviously you were getting to know him. He was asking me lots of questions about who I was because they don't follow the European Amateur Tour that well. So he was genuinely interested. Where I'd come from, how I was on the tour, and how the tournament had been going in Riga and my first year. So that was great. And then we got to the airport, and then I thought, well, he'll go his separate way now and whatever. But he didn't. We went through the check-in process and security, etc. And then when we got through, he said to me, do you fancy a bit of lunch in Costa? So he took me into Costa, bought me lunch and bought me a drink. And that half-hour chat that we had, to him probably didn't mean much and was just passing time, but that meant quite a lot to me, that, because it was so informative, and we was just having a general friendly chat, and the tips he was giving me, I think obviously you can tell now something like that stays with someone like me, and then every time I flew again through London, which I did quite often, I was always sort of looking out, is Stuart going to be on this flight, and more often than not he was. So it just continued then. We'd always have a catch-up and a chat about things when I hadn't seen him for a while. And then even when I went to the World Snooker Awards, at the end of the first year, when I was nominated for Rookie of the Year and went on to win it, we got there. I took Ken Kinraid, the association chairman, and we got there and looked at the seating plan. And of course, who was our next two on the table but Stuart again. So that
almost fate.
It was, yeah. I mean, obviously, World Snooker knew nothing about the chats and the meetings we'd been having, but it was fate. So we sat down. Of course, I was right at home then, relaxed, and Ken was introduced to him then as well, and he was chatting about the island. He seemed to have an interest in the island and the snooker scene over here, and so that was a really good night. So obviously, when we were looking at, people were saying you've got to get somebody over to open this venue. Who are you getting? It was just a no-brainer. The first ideal one was Stuart, so I just put it to him and said, any chance you fancy a night out over on the island and open my new venue for me? And he came back quite interested, and we sorted a date out, and then sort of within 48 hours he was booked. So really excited for it, and just glad he's agreed to do it.
Are you able to say anything about the format of the opening night, or is that going to be released at a later date?
We've got an idea. Obviously, we've planned it out. I'm obviously working with Stuart to plan the evening. I've got to sort of stress that it isn't Stuart Bingham exhibition night, but we're looking at the way we'll open the evening is to have a little private sort of opening gathering with dignitaries that we'll invite there, people of interest for the venue, of which Stuart will be there, and obviously he'll be then integrating with the dignitaries. He can see the venue properly. The dignitaries that I've invited can see it properly. After that, then the venue will be opened to the public. Again, we'll confirm all the times, etc. But this is the general plan. They can then come in and they'll be able to see all the facilities. The tables will all be on, so they can jump on and have a go at this, have a go at that. The training tables that we're going to have in for the juniors, that the coaches will be operating, they'll be in there. So again, the juniors can have a feel for what it's like. And then the plan is for, while this is going on, obviously people can join the venue as a registered user, hopefully, if they like what they see. We'll have a standard raffle, and then what we'll also be doing is raffling off 3 frames to play against Stuart himself. So he will have his cue with him, he will be playing in the Cue Zone, and obviously anybody there will have the chance to win a frame against him, which is a good opportunity really. It doesn't happen that often over here. So that'll all take place then during the evening. Then we'll have the standard raffles, and we're looking at doing an auction with Stuart, so we'll have a lot of Stuart Bingham memorabilia that he will sign on the night, that people can obviously bid to win, and then it was just sort of close the evening then, and he will finally, as a final end to the night, he will then open the venue to everybody, and from the next day onwards, of course, it will then be open. So that's the plan anyway. As I say, we'll just put it all together now, and if people keep watching the Facebook page, then all these details will be finalised and released on closer to the day.